Lakers news, further intel on Lakers' Bojan Bogdanovic trade offer. LA's front office apparently likes to haggle. It's no secret that your Los Angeles Lakers have been pursuant of Utah Jazz turned Detroit Pistons sharpshooting veteran forward Bojan Bogdanovic. LA was apparently interested in securing Bogdanovic's services over the summer while he was still in Salt Lake City, and the team continues to be just as interested in adding him now that he's kicking butt for the Motor City. Sources inform Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports that LA reached out to Detroit with a pitch for a possible deal. The expiring contracts of Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn, combined, they're worth $18.3 million, and, much more importantly, a heavily protected future first-round draft pick. That money would work in a deal to take on Bogdanovic's $19.3 million contract. Fisher notes that the deal was hung up on the exact terms of said draft pick. Detroit wanted what Fisher terms a more tangible draft asset in return for its highest scorer. The 6 feet 7 inches Bogdanovic, 33, is averaging 21.1 points per game on .504/.432/.888 shooting splits, a borderline 50/40/90/ line on volume. He's taken 14 field goals total, including 6.1 triples, and 4.9 free throws. With second-leading scorer and former 2021 number 1 draft pick Cade Cunningham now sidelined for the season due to a shin injury, and the rest of the roster populated primarily by young and developing players, the A22 Pistons don't exactly seem to need Bogdanovic's services this season when it comes to piling up wins, though he could help them nab just enough victories to hurt their odds-in-a-tank job for projected top lottery picks Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson. That said, it does always help young players to have a solid veteran around them to teach them winning habits, and Bogdanovic has the postseason pedigree, thanks to his time in Utah, to do just that. Scoto, I think by the trade deadline, he could be arguably one of the biggest names that teams are trying to pry. I think Fat Joe said it best when it comes to Bojan Bogdanovic's trade market value with the Pistons: yesterday's price is not today's price. Now that Detroit has extended Bogdanovic and signed him through the 2024-25 season, which is only partially guaranteed, and the fact that Bogdanovic was at one point this season the only player averaging 20 points on 50/40/85 shooting splits. As I reported Tuesday on Hoops Hype, the Lakers, Heat, Mavericks, Hawks, and other playoff-caliber teams have expressed interest in trading for Bogdanovic. James, from your standpoint, being around the team every day, have you heard of other teams specifically who've expressed interest in trading for Bogdanovic? What could the price be to pry him from Detroit? As you, Shams and myself have said, Detroit doesn't want to move him now, but what would it take to tickle their fancy? Edwards, the teams you listed are pretty much the teams I've heard. It's an interesting situation because Bogdanovic has shot the ball lights out and is playing arguably the best basketball of his life. Logic would say the Pistons would sell high on that, but I'm not so sure. The Pistons don't want to be bad forever. Next season was kind of start pushing for the play-in tournament. Everybody has a price. My guess is the Pistons don't want to necessarily trade him, but if there's an offer like an unprotected first and maybe a young player, or multiple firsts, I think that would maybe entice them to do so. Scoto, in life, you want to find someone who loves you as much as Pistons coach Dwayne Casey loves Bogdanovic, laughs. To your point, this was a guy Detroit got relatively on the cheap for Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee when he wasn't signed beyond this season. This is a team operating from a position of strength where they don't want to move him, so you're going to have to almost overwhelm them with an offer to get Bogdanovic. It's likely going to take more than just an unprotected first-round pick, as you mentioned.